Okay. So, yesterday we have covered how to log into EC2 machine, how to create EC2 machine, right? We have created a couple of EC2 machine. Anybody any question on how to create EC2 machine right now? Yes, no? Let me know if you have any question on how to create EC2 machine. Okay, I will hope that you are clear how to create EC2 machine. Now let's start with the EBS volume. So we have covered what is EBS volume. We have started with EBS. What is EBS? Sorry. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we started with EBS. EBS is a elastic block storage, or it's a actual block storage in cloud on which you are going to install your OS. You're going to install your application. You can store the data. It is going to attach on your EC2 machine as a root device or as an external device. Now, what is mean by root device and what is mean by external device? Anybody knows? What is mean by root device and what is mean by external device? I have shared. Is screen not visible? Okay, let me share it again. Yeah, tell me. I have shared it again. Uh, so what do you mean by internal device or root device versus external device? External storage, root storage, and external storage. Okay, and root device. What is root device in general? So basically, root device. Uh, this is my system. Assume that this is my system. This is a computer. You have two type of hard disk. One is this hard disk. Another is this one. So if you are, this is my primary hard disk on which you are going to install your OS. You're going to install your applications. It is called root device, root volume. Okay, a root hard disk on which you're going to install your OS. This hard disk is generally attached to your EC2 machine or in your local machine as well. Apart from that, any other disk you're attaching, it will be called as extra hard disk or external hard disk. But right now, any device which you are attaching to your EC2 machine on which you are going to install your OS will be called as root device. Sorry. So, mhm. So even on your root device, you can store the data, but it is primarily for OS and application. Plus, you can store your user data as well. Okay. So primarily, you require a RAM, you require CPU, you require a root device. Okay. On root device, moreover, we are storing application and OS. If you want, you can store user data as well. So this is my EBS volume. This is one type of EBS volume. And second type of EBS volume is external volume you attach on which you're not installing your OS, you're just putting the user data. Okay, you're putting the data. Yes. Yeah, the hard disk, this is a virtual machine. This is a virtual disk, right? So, as I showed in the previous PPT, let me show you. So, again, they are not actually so something like this. Remember? So, there will be a huge storage with Amazon. They are going to virtually split that storage into small chunks and it will be attached to your machine. This is your how the EBS volume will attach again. Now I want to make a segregation about root volume and normal volume. What is your root volume and normal volume? Yeah, means EBS it is EBS. This is EBS volume only. This is EBS machine only. Okay. The major difference is that one will be used as a root volume. What is the root volume on which the OS will be installed? And you can attach as an external volume as well. So you can attach multiple EBS volume on your EC2 machine. आप मल्टीपल EBS वॉल्यूम अटैच कर सकते हो जस्ट लाइक आप अपने मोबाइल अपने लैपटॉप में मल्टीपल हार्ड डिस्क अटैच कर सकते हो बट एक प्राइमरी चाहिए चाहिए विदाउट योर हार्ड डिस्क कैन योर EC2 लोकल मशीन विल रन और नॉट without a hard disk will your computer will be completed क्या आप रैम और सीपीयू में चला सकते हो कंप्यूटर टेल मी क्या आप अपने रैम और सीपीयू में चला सकते हो सो एटलीस्ट वन ईबीएस वॉल्यूम चाहिए एटलीस्ट वन स्टोरेज चाहिए that one storage is called as root device root storage on which you are going to install your OS and applications यूजर डेटा तो आप इस पे भी स्टोर कर सकते हो और एक्सटर्नल पे भी स्टोर कर सकते हो कैन यू इंस्टॉल ओएस ऑन एक्सटर्नल डिवाइसेस कैन यू स्टोर OS on external devices? So answer is no, you can't, right? So EBS volumes is a normal hard disk, okay? But I want to segregate into two parts, root volume and external volume. So what is mean by root volume? The volume or the devices on which the OS will be installed. You can store user data as well, but this works as a primary for your OS or your applications. Okay. Any question on this? No. Yes. So many companies, what they do, they install because there might be chances that your OS can crash, right? Because of that, your EBS volume might get corrupted. You might need to format that, but you have external storage, external EBS volume on which the user data is there. So you will take backups. You will take backups of external volume rather than root volume, right? If I want to take a backup, so what type of backup generally you do in your local system, in your laptop? What backup you do? Do you take backup of Windows? Do you take backup of your application, or do you take backup of your data? Why are we segregating this? Why I'm segregating it? So if anything happens, so let's say I have two volumes. Okay, if let's say I have one volume, EBS volume. Okay, this is my EC2 machine. This is my one hard disk on which everything is installed and user data is there. So if I'm taking backup, so 40% of the hard disk will be used for OS or application. Assume that hypothetically, right? So if I'm taking a backup, in my backup, is this 40% is useful for me? Tell me. The user data is stored here in the remaining 60. So if I'm taking backup, is 40% space which was used by OS or your application is useful for me? No. So what I can do, I can attach an external EBS volume to my EC2 machine, and I can take backup of that EBS volume. And I'm storing user data only. What is mean by user data in general? Anybody? I'm generally say user data means your personal data, your company data, or data which you are going to use for your application, your just like your PPT, your photos, your personal information, anything which is generated by you is called user data. Okay. So if I take a backup of this backup will be more meaningful as compared to backup of this root volume. Tell me, right? So that's why we segregate in general. It's not that you should always create an external volume and keep the user data in there. It is a good practice. You can keep, you can create only one machine, one EBS volume, and you can keep the data there. Now, why I have gone through this two type, you will understand in a couple of minutes. Now, is it clear what is my root volume and what is my external volume? So it will help you in further classes if you are clear at this point. Okay. Now we have to understand the type of EBS volume. We have we learn type of EC2 machines. We have learned understand the category of your S3, how the data is stored on S3 on different tiers. Yes or no? Right? We have gone through the different EC2 machine S3 tires, right? So similar to that, EBS volume have different category or different type which we have to understand and how that category will be useful in different scenario. Okay. Now let's go and understand that. First is general purpose and it is SSD. So what is general purpose? It's again just like a general purpose car, general purpose mobile. It gave you the best pricing and best performance, and it is for day-to-day activity. It's not special. You can use it anywhere. So it balances the both pricing and performance. Ratio of 3 IOPS per gigabyte with 1300 IOPS and ability to burst up to 3000 IOPS for extended period of time for a volume at 3334 gigabytes and above. Okay, so I will give you uh, one scenario and couple of scenarios, but let me know how many of you know what is IOPS and what is meant by throughput. How many of you know IOPS and what? How many of you know throughput? Do you know difference between throughput and IOPS, or you have heard this word for very first time? Let me know. Just know. You might have heard in your hard disk when you're purchasing the hard disk. This hard disk has a very good throughput. This hard disk has a very good IOPS. You might have heard this one when you go to purchase the hard disk. These are the common things written there. No? Have you gone through what is meant by IOPS and what is meant by throughput in general? They are hand in hand. So I will give you a very basic example. What is mean by IOPS and what is mean by throughput with the practical scenario. Okay. Now this let's understand. This is a uh, tanker, or you can say it is a tank on which the water is stored. Okay. This is a tanker, or you can say uh, yeah, tanker I can give on which the water is stored. Right? This is a tanker in your society from which you have to take the water at your home. And here you have to take the water and fill it in this tanker in your home. This is a your home bucket. Now you have to take water and pour it here. Now there are two persons in at your home. One is you and there is a child at your home which are doing this task. Okay, let's take child. The speed of child is faster than you. That means he or she can run between these two areas fast. But the amount of water that the child will take will be, let's say, 1 liter in one run. So in one run, if he goes from here to here, how much water that child is taking with him? In one run, how much water the child will be pouring? 1 liter, right? And similarly, there's a person. Hello. Yes. Okay. So the child runs between these two poles. So if I take a timer in 10 minutes, this child can run between these two uh, entities 10 times. So how much water this uh, child will pour in this bucket? How much water this child will pour in this bucket? 10 liters? Yes or no? Agree? Similarly, this is you. This is a person or adult person who can take 5 liter at a time, who can carry water from here to here 5 liter. But within 10 minutes, this person can walk only 3 times from here to this person can complete 3 trips. So in 10 minutes, how much water this person will be pouring? 15 liters. Now, who is faster? Who is running fast? And who has more capacity to carry? Tell me. The child has more speed. The child has more speed, but capacity is low. Versus the adult has less speed, but capacity is high. Agree? Now, there are two terms here, speed and capacity. Speed and capacity. So, speed is IOPS, input output per second. Input output per second. That how many times can I fill the bucket and pour the bucket? Amount is not important. How many times I can run between these things? So input output per second. So in your computer terms, this is your hard disk. How many times you can read this hard disk in a given second? How many parallelly I can hit this hard disk in 1 second? Input output per second. So if I'm saying 100 input output, so 100 times per second I can hit your hard disk. Input output per second, IOPS. And what is throughput? In each input output request, how much amount of data can I read? In each IOPS, in each request, how much amount of data can I read? That is throughput. So this person has a huge throughput, 5 liter throughput, but IOPS is less, right? But this person has huge IOPS, but throughput is less. Agree? समझ आया ये सिनारियो? थ्रूपुट और आईओपीएस में डिफरेंस समझ आया? Yes. Throughput is capacity or amount of data that can be transferred in a single request. And how many times you are hitting that hard disk or that the disk can accumulate parallel request is IOPS. Okay. So over the period of time, your IOPS degrades. Your system becomes slow, na? Over the period of time, your system IOPS becomes slow. So why we have to learn about this? Because this is your hard disk. How much amount of data you are pulling from this hard disk is important. If you are pulling more amount of data or if you are hitting more than given capacity, you will get an bottleneck. You will get an error, right? So general purpose IOPS has a IOPS of 13,000 per second. IOPS is of 13,000. Input output per second. Input output per second. How many times you can hit a hard disk in given second? In a given second. In 1 second, how much amount of data you are going to pull is called throughput. And how many times I can hit this hard disk is defined by IOPS. So, if I calculate scenario number one hard disk has 1000 IOPS and throughput of 1 MB. So, how much amount of data can I read per second? It will give 1000 MB per second. This is my reading and writing capacity of a hard disk. Second scenario, 10,000 IOPS. And what is throughput? Again, 1 MB again, let's say, or 100 KB. So what is my throughput? 10,000 multiply 100 KB. It will be nearly, let's drop one. So, okay, it will be again 1000 Mbps, MB per second. Okay, now third scenario, I have 100 IOPS, but my throughput is high. My throughput is 100 MB. Throughput is 100 MB. So how much is my capacity? 100 multiply 100 MB. It will be MB per second. That is equivalent to 10 gigabytes per second. Is the speed of my hard disk. So this is you have to calculate. Okay. So how the more combination of throughput and IOPS gives you the best performance. Right? You are able to read more data. This is your reading capacity of your your hard disk. Throughput multiply IOPS. Clear? Now, any question on this? Clear throughput versus IOPS? Now, take one scenario. What here Amazon is saying. Amazon gave so Amazon gives you 1300 IOPS. 1300 IOPS. So let's take example. You have a website. Okay. Amazon is willing to give additional 300 IOPS for extended period of time. Extended period of time. So let's take example here. What do we mean by this? So let's say you have a website. You can host a website in EC2 machine. I will show you how can we do that. But assume that you have a website hosted on EC2 machine. Okay, हमने वेबसाइट होस्ट किया था S3 पे. सेम टाइप ऑफ वेबसाइट हमने EC2 मशीन, क्योंकि EC2 मशीन इज अ सर्वर, राइट? I can host a website on EC2 machine. It's a machine. I can use it to host a website. Map machine, I can do anything with that machine. So assume that you have hosted a website on EC2 machine, and a website is of new blogging website or news website. So this is your IOPS. Let's say 5000, 5K. At this point, it is 10K. At this point, it is 13K. Okay, and at this point, it is 16K and above. So let's say at a given time, different time frame, your website is running somewhere here. But at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, your traffic goes drastically high, and somewhere it settles here. At 9 a.m., your traffic reaches 13,000 IOPS, means 13,000 customers are trying to parallelly access your website. What if your more request comes to your hard disk to read the data? If it's more than 13,000, what will happen? There are two scenarios. Your request will fail. So any user who's hitting after reaching the 13,000 request, that request will fail, right? This is a red zone now. This is a red zone. So what Amazon says that for a smaller period of time, okay, so let's make it green. Okay, for couple of seconds, couple of minutes, it is going to give you extra 3,000 requests. Small period of time. So if you have a spike, let's say like this, and it comes back again to 13,000, again have a spike and come back to 13,000, below 13,000. But if going continuously about 13,000, these are the three scenarios. So here, anyway, so here, this scenario, will you get the error, or here you will get error? So these two scenario will be handled by Amazon. Why? Because it's a small period of time, right? It will be 5 minutes here. It will be 2 minutes here. So a small burst of 3,000 can be handled. But if it is going more than 16,000, then your application will fail. Or your application is about 13,000 for a longer period of time, then Amazon will not give you the extra 3,000 burst. So in a spike scenario, it will help you out. समझ आया? Now, what is my burst? That users are coming and requesting your website ना, आपकी वेबसाइट एक्सेस कर रहे हैं, मतलब वो पूरा वेबसाइट डाउनलोड कर रहे हैं, राइट? 13,000 टाइम्स आपके हार्ड डिस्क पे हिट हो रहा है सेम फाइल के लिए. दैट इज अ IOPS. यू आर रीडिंग डिफरेंट फाइल्स. क्लियर हो गया ये चीज? इज इट क्लियर? So what is the property of general purpose? It has a 13,000 IOPS and it can give additional 3,000 IOPS over the period of time. Now what if your website is too heavy? That number of users are increasing. Will general purpose will help you out in that case? आप ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हो कि आपकी वेबसाइट पे 20,000 रिक्वेस्ट आ रहे हैं on a daily basis for a given time. Will your general purpose will help you out in this case? समझ आ रहा है? मैं प्रॉपर्टी तो बता रहा हूँ. General purpose. So in that case, general purpose will not help you out. You have to go with the provision IOPS. Now, what is provision? Designed for IO intense applications such as large relational database and NoSQL databases. Use this if you need more than 16,000 IOPS. It can go up to 64,000 IOPS, and now they have launched where you can go up to 265, 256, 256,000 IOPS. Okay, but this is more expensive as compared to general purpose. Same. Now, both of these hard disks can be used as a root volume. So you can install your OS, you can install your application on both of these. Both of these are SSD. And what is their short form? GP, general purpose GP. And for this provisional IOPS, the name is provisioned IOPS, and short name is IO. And this is a generation: IO1, IO2, IO3, GP1, GP2, GP3. Any question on this two type of EBS volume? So both of them are for gives you a good throughput and a decent IOPS. Now next is HDD, hard disk drive. So they are magnetic disk. It comes in three flavors. Okay, they are the old generation disks. They comes in three flavor. One is throughput optimized. As the name suggests, these are used where you want to pull a huge amount of data in a single request. In a single request, if you want to pull a huge amount of data, throughput high, that means per request you are pulling a huge data. So the short name is ST. You have to remember these names. ST. Used for big data, data warehousing, data loading, and this cannot be used as a root volume or boot volume. This hard disk cannot be used for installing your OS. They are not supporting root volume. So you can't select throughput optimize this HDD to install your OS. This they are not, you will not able to get that option in the console. Cold storage. Cold HDD. Short name is SC. Low cost storage for frequently access workload file server. Again, they cannot be used for boot volume. Next is magnetic standard. Again, this is magnetic disk, low cost per gigabyte for EBS volume that is bootable. This is only one magnetic disk which supports bootability. Now, what is my bootability or boot volume? Anybody knows? You call it root volume, you call it boot volume. Basically, this volume, this hard disk support to install OS, and they will launch your OS. Supportability of installing the OS, and they will able to boot that OS easily. Okay, booting means starting your computer. Simple. So they support bootability. Question. So standard magnetic, these are used for infrequent access data. Infrequent access data. Only magnetic disk that is bootable. Magnetic volume are basically ideal for workload where data is accessed infrequently and apply application which where the low cost is important. So this is all our magnetic disk. Inside that there are three categories. Throughput optimize, used for used amount of data where you're dealing a huge data. In that cases you should use it. So this two will be used as external volumes. These two devices will be used as external volumes where you are going to keep the user data. Got it? So let's summarize all this thing in all this in one chart. So you can see SSD, you can see HDD, SSD full form solid disk drive, HDD is hard disk drive. These are flash drives, these are magnetic drives. Okay, volume type general purpose, provision, throughput, cold storage, and magnetic. Name, short name GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, IO3, IO2 Express, then ST1, ST2, SC1, SC2, and standard. Description: general purpose SSD volumes that balance the price and performance for a wide variety of transactional workload. High performance SSD designed for mission critical applications where the you have a different spikes in your application. Low cost HDD volumes designed for frequently accessed throughput intense workload. Cold storage, low cost HDD volume designed for less frequent workload, and this is previous generation. Use cases: low latency interactive app development and testing environment workloads, most workloads. Here, workload that require sub-millisecond latency, IO intense database workloads in general. Here, big data or data warehousing, file system, and workload where data is infrequent access. Now, here you can see the how much size a EBS volume you will get, starting with 1 GB up to 16 terabyte. This starts with 4 GB up to 64 terabytes. Here it starts minimum is 125 gigabytes and it can go up to 16 terabytes. Same goes with cold storage, 125 gigabytes starting is, and then it can go up to 16 terabytes. Next is IOPS. You can see maximum it can go up to 16,000 IOPS. This is important to remember. If you are not able to go, because you will get a scenario based question in exam that your application you are getting slowness in your hard disk, what might be the reason? There are few customers who are complaining that they are not able to access the website, they are not able to access the data, and what might be the reason? Okay, so because there might be the very huge workload is there, and because of that you are getting IOPS error. What should you do? You should upgrade your system to provision one or distribute the traffic. There are two options. Okay, here 64,000 to 56,000. Here the throughput IOPS is less as compared to SSDs. Okay, here you can see the throughput, different throughputs available. Now the last two category is important. Boot volume. So this is supported, this is supported, and this is supported. Throughput optimize and cold storage doesn't support bootability or as they doesn't support root volume. This is very important to remember for exam and for certification. Now, can you attach a single EBS volume to multiple EC2 machine? Can you share your EBS volume to multiple EC2 machine? This is my EC2 machines. Can I attach same EBS volume to multiple EC2 machine? Internal or external means root volume or as a external volume. Can I do that? मेरी एक एक्सटर्नल डिस्क है, सबके पास अज्यूम करो सबके पास अपनी EBS वॉल्यूम है, रूट वॉल्यूम है, all have root volume with them, they're working. Okay, and I have kept some data on my this volume. Can I attach this volume to multiple EC2 machine so that they can share the data? Yes or no? So answer is no. ABS volume doesn't support multi-tenancy. So you can see multi-attachment. EBS volume not supported. I will come to this. Not supported, not supported, not supported. Only one is available, that is provision one is supported. But in general statement, EBS volume doesn't support multi-attachments. That means you cannot attach a single volume, a single hard disk to multiple EC2 machine. but vice versa is applicable. One machine can attach multiple EBS volume. एक कंप्यूटर पे मल्टीपल हार्ड डिस्क अटैच कर सकते हो, पर एक हार्ड डिस्क को मल्टीपल मशीन पे अटैच नहीं कर सकते. क्वेश्चन. So let's go in your console and let's create some machines. Again, EC2 machine. Instance. I'm in Mumbai. There is no machine running. Let's create one machine. Okay. So here you can select OS, any OS you want, which is in free tier. I'm selecting Linux 2. T2 micro again. Key value pair, the key value pair which we have created previously. Security group, the same security group which we have created previously. I'm not creating multiple security group. Now here is the configuration for your storage. Storage configuration. Go to advanced. Now you can see 8 GB general purpose. If I scroll here, you can select general purpose 2, 3, provision 1, provision 2, cold storage, throughput, and magnetic. I told you, right? You cannot use cold storage and throughput for your root volume. This is your root volume. Select throughput optimized disk and cold disk for root volume. You can see here it is root volume. Root volume means, or bootable volume means, the volume on which you are going to install your OS. You're going to install your OS. So for Linux system, we require 8 GB. That is a minimum. So I have selected the size of EBS volume, type of EBS volume. Now here it is written delete on termination. What is mean by delete on termination? Anybody knows? What is mean by delete on termination? Puneet, your voice is quite low today. Mm, no. So when I terminate the machine, the volume will be terminated with that. When I terminate the machine. So basically, I will give you why this option is there. So remember this diagram. So this is one unit. This is one unit, RAM and CPU. And you have an external volume. You have a root volumes attached to it, or you can say the hard disk is attached to it. When you terminate the machine, you have an option. Do you want to keep the volume with you? Your option that do you want to keep the volume with you? I don't want to delete the hard disk. That's what this option is there. Delete on termination. If I click here, you can see delete on termination indicates whether the volume should be automatically deleted when the instance is terminated. So I don't have to go and delete the volume manually. Okay, but you have an option that after you terminate the machine, you can keep the volume with you. It's chargeable, but still you can keep the volume. Why? If you want to persist some data, you can see if you disable this feature, the volume will be persist independently after the life cycle of EC2 machine. So why we click on no? If I want to save this data, there is some important data which I'm going to keep on this machine or on this volume that I don't want to be deleted after the machine is getting deleted. Okay, so this is a root volume. I can attach extra, you can see add a volume. Apart from that, everything will be external volume. First is the root volume on which the OS will be going to install, and apart from that, everything will be external disk. So you can see this is custom volume. So I'm giving provision one, IO1, and I'm giving capacity of 10 GB. Delete on termination, no. And you can encrypt your data hard disk. Previously, this option was not available. Now, in 2000, after 2020, Amazon has given that you can encrypt the root volume as well as external volumes. Previously, there was no option to encrypt the root volume. मतलब कि जो root volume था उसको encrypt नहीं कर सकते थे directly. Why we have to encrypt the data, or why we have to encrypt the volume? I think everybody knows, right? This is a default encryption, but I'm not doing it. Okay, you can encrypt your hard disk. Previously root volume को नहीं देते थे, option नहीं था. Why I give you this background? Because in interview you can just say that you know the history of Amazon, how Amazon has evolved over the time, because it can give you a age that you know previous versions as well. मतलब आप काफी टाइम से काम कर रहे हो, even though you have not worked, but it can give an impression that you have been working for with Amazon for a longer period of time. So for root volume, encryption was not given as a default option previously, but now Amazon has modified their system. Now root volume can be encrypted by default. Okay, I'm attaching one more. Okay, and remember, root volume you cannot attach throughput optimized storage. You can see not compatible with root volume. Call storage not compatible with root volume. So that's why I have to go with the general purpose or provision. I'm adding one more volume. Sorry. So one is root volume. Second is custom volume with provision one. Third is, let's go with the throughput optimize. Now you can see the minimum capacity you have to provision is 125 GB. Now this will charge you, because in free tier you can only go up to 30 GB. You are eligible for up to 30 GB. If you are going above that, you are going to get charged. And here I have disabled the delete on termination. Here I have disabled the delete on termination. So how many hard disks I have attached to my system? 3 volumes, you can see here. Total how much I am consuming? 143 GB. Clear? Just launch the machine. Done? Any question till here? We are almost completing EBS volumes. Any question on here? Guys, बोलिए. समझ आ रहा है EBS वॉल्यूम क्या है? एक हार्ड डिस्क है, हार्ड डिस्क की प्रॉपर्टी पढ़ रहे हैं, डिफरेंट हार्ड डिस्क की डिफरेंट प्रॉपर्टीज होती है, एंड उसको कैसे अटैच कर सकते हैं, कहाँ अटैच कर सकते हैं, वो हम लर्न कर रहे हैं. Clear? Now this machine is up. Now if you go here and go to the volume, now you can see here the option called volume in the left side. Now here, if you have multiple machines, so each machine will have at least one root volume. अगर आपके पास multiple machines है, हर मशीन के पास एक रूट वॉल्यूम होगा, यस और नो? बिना रूट वॉल्यूम के चलेगा क्या ये? यस, नो, डाउट? So remember the machine ID. This is a unique ID for your machine. It is called instance ID. It is called instance ID. This is a unique ID. If you go here, this is a volume ID. ये volume का ID है. Now this volume is attached to which machine? You will see here. This volume is attached to which machine? So I will give you a little overview of all the properties on Monday. But you can see this is my EC2 machine. This is machine ID. Current state is running. What type of machine it is? T2, micro, alarm, availability zone, public IP, private DNS and public IP. Then monitoring, security group, the name of your security group, key value pair which is used, and it is a launch time. This is a quite overview, and here I can show you there are different property here. Okay, in detail we are going to cover on Monday. So you can see there are multiple options available. But here if you go to the volume in the left side, there are 3 volumes showing in your console. So you are using 3 volume. You are going to get charged for all these 3 volumes. Okay. Now you can see on which EC2 machine these volumes are connected. So all of 3 are attached to same EC2 machine because they have same instance ID. State, these 2 are okay, but this first one, so it is not giving the status as of now. So Amazon is doing some checkup, health checkup of your machine. If it's not giving some information, it will take time. Any question till this point? Guys, समझ आया EBS वॉल्यूम अटैच कैसे करते हैं? Okay. Now, my question. Can you upgrade your local laptop from 20 GB to 100 GB hard disk when your computer is running? Again, your computer is running, your internal hard disk is of 20 GB. Can you upgrade that hard disk to 100 GB when your computer is running? Yes or no? क्या आप चलती मशीन पे कोई अपग्रेड कर सकते हो? कुछ भी? Not possible, right? So, but in cloud is this possible? So you can see this is a hard disk of 8 GB. Now assume that the EBS volume has a fixed size. EBS volume has a fixed size, that is 8 GB means 8 GB. If you exhaust 8 GB, it is not going to elastically expand automatically. What is more elasticity? Expand, right? EBS volume doesn't expand automatically, just like S3. In S3 you can keep data as much as you want, right? There is no capacity provision. आप वहाँ पे capacity define नहीं करते, right? Do you define capacity in S3 that this bucket is of 100 GB? Do you define that? No, right? But in EBS volume, you define the capacity. Means 8 GB मतलब total 8 GB. If you are using 1 GB, still you are paying for 8 GB of your EBS volume. अगर आपने 1 GB, let's log into this machine. I will show you that how much data you are using. Okay, so this is your machine. We are logging into this machine. You can see you have 8 GB provisioned. How much data there is in this hard disk? If you see, this is my hard disk. I have used only 1.7 GB and 6.4 GB is available. That means almost 80% of the disk is available for use. That should I be charging for 8 GB or should I be getting charged for 1.4 GB? कितना चार्ज लगेगा? 8 GB का चार्ज लगेगा या? Agree. So EBS volume, first of all, it is not auto expandable. So if you exhaust your data, means if you exhaust your storage, it will not going to expand automatically. Second, it is going to charge for the amount of size you have taken. Not you. I'm not talking about use size. I'm talking about the provision size. That is 8 GB. Right? Now you can modify this thing on the fly. And first, and just observe here, I'm only able to see one hard disk. That is your primary hard disk. I'm not able to see the two other hard disks, 10 GB and 125 GB. Okay, can you see that? This is the hard disk, all the storage. In Linux, df-kh is the command to see the all the file system. I can't see the 100 to 125 GB or 10 GB hard disk attached on this. Why? If anybody can answer, otherwise I will give you an answer in 5 minutes. But let's go here. Can I expand this on the fly? Can you expand your hard disk on the fly in a local? If this hard disk is full, can I expand it? Can I change the property of this hard disk type? In local, it's not possible, but in the cloud, it's possible. Just go to the volume on which you have to expand. Click on that particular volume, select that volume, and click on modify the volume. Now I can change the category. Even I can increase the size. Okay, I can change the type and I can increase the size on the fly. So it is giving the warning that machine is running and it will take time. So it will take couple of minutes to complete the task. Okay, so now you can see this is converting into in use but optimizing. Let's change this IOPS and change the size from 10 GB to 20 GB. You can upgrade it to any other cold storage. Let's say upgrade to cold storage. So provision 1 I have upgraded to cold storage. So you can see it isn't working. So in Amazon, you can upgrade the system, you can upgrade the hard disk on the fly. On the fly means while system is running. Amazon doesn't recommend that, but you can do that. Amazon always says that shut down your machine first, stop the machine, not terminate, stop the machine, then upgrade the hard disk. But you can go, you can increase the hard disk on the fly as well. Any question? Why Amazon says that stop the machine and then upgrade it? Because there might be chances that your OS might be reading and writing something on your hard disk, and because you are doing some modification, that operation can get impacted. आपकी कभी कभी corrupt file हो सकती है, right? I told you your OS is keep on reading and writing data from your hard disk, right? For at least for root volume, you should stop the machine. Okay, that is a recommendation by Amazon. Question. Means right. Right, I'll come to that. I will shut down this machine. I will show you how can we, which volume will be kept to us and which volume will be deleted. We'll see that. So I will come to that. Right now, these are modifying, right? I'm just waiting for that. But meanwhile, are we clear till this point? Yes, this is chargeable. So don't go beyond 30 GB. Don't go beyond 30 GB. If you're going, yes, even I'm getting charged here. Yes, I'm getting charged here. Okay, so don't go beyond 30 GB. If you're going, you're for doing practice, just do for a couple of minutes and then terminate. Okay. Meanwhile, can you see here it this hard disk and this hard disk was there. Still, I am not able to see the hard disk in my EC2 machine, right? So the why I'm not able to see this hard disk in my machine? Can anybody know this? How many of you who has worked on Linux can give an answer? This is a problem with Linux system, not our Amazon. This is a problem with Linux machine, Linux OS in general. Why? How many means okay? ag- 10 years back, when you purchase your mouse, your uh, printer, your keyboard, in that time you get a CD with you to install the drivers. Remember? Anybody? जब भी हम कोई external device purchase करते थे, why? Why that CD was coming? Nowadays, if you're purchasing your printer and mouse, the CD is coming with you or not? उसके साथ CD आता है क्या आजकल? क्यों क्यों पहले आता था अभी नहीं आता? कभी सोचा है? इन योर विंडोज इनबिल्ट वो उनके पास जो ड्राइवर्स जो चाहिए आपके ओएस को पेन ड्राइव सपोर्ट करने के लिए या योर माउस सपोर्ट करने के लिए प्रिंटर सपोर्ट करने के लिए वो इनबिल्ट हो गए आपके ओएस में आ गया वो सारी चीजें राइट आपके ड्राइवर्स जो थे वो इनबिल्ट ही दे दिए उन्होंने आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स सो यू डोंट रिक्वायर टू इंस्टॉल एनीथिंग एक्सटर्नल एग्री कभी आपने पेन ड्राइव डाला है तो यू माइट हैव सीन दैट पेन ड्राइव के लिए भी वो पहले सीडी आती थी अभी पेन ड्राइव डालते तो ऑटोमेटिक इंस्टॉल हो जाती है एक यहाँ पे माउंटपुट आ जाता है पेन ड्राइव का राइट पेन ड्राइव डालते तो माउंटपुट आता है हार्ड डिस्क डालते तो माउंटपुट आता है बट 10 years back this was not possible you have to install cd then only that mountpoint will come means your nowadays your os is coming with a software which will mount your external device automatically. What is my external device? Pen drive, your mouse, your keyboard. These are the external device, your monitor. Agree? But in Linux, this feature is not there till now. So that means the device which you have connected, this device and this device, their external device, they are not mounted. They are not, they are there in the system, but they are not mounted automatically. So what is the command? Mount E EBS volume to EC2 machine. You will find this article easily. I'm pasting the URL. This is not for your exam. This is not for your interview. This is just for your general knowledge. Okay. In Linux system, any external hard disk you attach, apart from root volume, will not mount automatically. Linux system का ये problem है. Because it's a very lightweight system. वहाँ पे GUI नहीं है. There is nothing. Right? Everything you have to do manually. That's why. Okay. If you want to check, just follow the command. Amazon has given very good documentation. I keep on saying that Amazon has a very good documentation. Now you can see this command. You can check out the hard disk is available. B and C, volume B, volume A, volume B, volume C. But it is not mounted as of now. Okay. So for that purpose, you have to follow the steps. I can do that, but try it out. It's very simple. It's very simple. Just copy paste these commands. Copy this command and change the character like sudo file copy this thing, and I have to mount B. That's it. Just copy paste everything. No, you don't have to understand what it is doing. Just change the last character. This is your system name, XVDB volume name. Okay, I'm giving it as a B drive. Now just mount this. This is a command for mounting. D D. Now you will able to see that partition. Now you can see this partition is here. Previously it was not showing. Following these commands, couple of commands, that partition will come up. Basically जो mount point है ना वो दिखता नहीं है Linux में directly. You have to manually enable that thing. Clear? Yes or no? इतना समझ आया? एग्जाम में कोई पूछता नहीं है, इस इंटरव्यू में भी कोई ऐसा जनरली पूछेगा नहीं. Clear? Just I want to make sure that you are aware. कल को आप लॉगिन करके बोलोगे सर मैंने 125 GB लोड किया था बट यहाँ पे दिख ही नहीं रहा. So this will happen. Now you can see that 125 GB is available for use. Any question? So अगर Windows होता तो automatically mount हो जाता. But Linux है तो you have to mount that manually. Okay. Now I'm terminating this machine. I am terminating this machine. How many volume will be terminated automatically? How many volume will be terminated automatically? Let's see. Terminate. So if you go here, these are all in use. If I refresh, so my machine is terminating. My EC2 machine is terminating. The volume will terminate automatically, yes or no? Tell me. They are all in available state now. Now if I refresh again, one is gone, two is remaining. Why? एक चला गया, दो बच गए. Why? Remember that option called delete on termination? When we created the machine, we had an option called delete on termination. Remember this delete on termination? If it is yes, that means if you terminate the machine, the volumes will be terminated automatically. You don't have to worry about that. But if this option is no, in this two scenario volume we have kept this option as no. So that means you have to manually delete them. So if it's in the available state, you can just select them and delete. If you are not deleting it manually now, that means these machines are with you. That implies you are using it. So you kept that volume, you will be charged. Now there is nothing in my here, so there will be no charge after this point. And if you want to check, like sir, हम एक एक चीज पे जाके कैसे देखेंगे? Go to this dashboard. You will see everything here. In the dashboard, you will see running state, your volume, instance volume. You will see the volumes snapshot. We are going to cover snapshot next time. So you can see in a given region everything, and even you have a global view. Global view means all the region combined together in a single dashboard. So if anything is running in any other region, you will able to see here. You can see Mumbai, number of instance running, security group, subnet, volume, load balancer. This is a global. Means all the region together. So अगर आपको डाउट है कि मैंने कल EC2 मशीन खुला छोड़ दिया या मेरा रह रहा है 4 लग रहा है, if you're not able to find out, you can just use the global. Okay. Question. So right now Amazon has increased the region to 28. Nice. Keep on adding the new regions. Yes. Any question till this point, guys? There is no charge for security group. Policy के charge नहीं होते कभी. Security group is a policy. So instance and volume, you can see. Volumes right now it is showing 0. So nothing is running in my system, in my cloud. Clear? Any question? I'm going very slow because I want you to understand this thing. Next week we are going to speed up a little. But meanwhile, any question, any doubt, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा हो तो प्लीज मुझे बताइए. Right? So exam tips. Amazon EC2 machine is a virtual machine in cloud. You can select any machine as per your convenience. It comes in different options: on demand, reserve, spot, and dedicate. So on demand allow you to pay fixed price per hour. Reserve instance, you can reserve the instance for a longer period of time with a given commitment from 1 year to 3 years. You can get discounts. Spot instance, you can bid on the on the instance, but Amazon can take back the instance anytime they want. Dedicate host, the total physical server will be allocated to you. The underlying hardware will be not shared by any other person, any other system. Then we have family of EC2 machines. F family, I family, G, H, T, D, R, M, C, P, X, Z, A, U. So these are different family. Each family has their different characteristics. As per your requirement and use case, you can select the given family. We are using T family. It is cheap, general purpose, and generally used for practicing and for creating small application or small projects. Then EBS volume. We have 5 category of EBS volume. One is general purpose SSD, second is provision SSD, GP, IO, balance both and perform price and performance. It is high provision one. It is high performance SSD with low latency magnetic disk. It has 3 categories. These are old generation HDD compared to slow as compared to general purpose and provision one because they are HDD. Okay, throughput optimized, low cost, high SSD volume designed for frequently accessed throughput intense workload. Cold storage, low cost storage for infrequent access, and magnetic is for previous generation. Bootable volume. These are bootable. These are bootable. 3 are bootable. Throughput and cold storage are not bootable. I have shown in console as well. So you cannot select these two type of volumes as your root volume. That is for today.